Good morning, family. Good morning, morning, morning. I know you guys are on the cliff as to what happened to my grill. So let's diffuse the rumors, okay? Let's diffuse the rumors. First, let's start out by saying what date this is, because I don't even know. Okay, today is Thursday, the 29th of August. It is 9:17 in the a.m. I'm just getting up the second time. I usually get up, to ensure that the kids get out and they're looking decent. And then most times I'll lay back down, to grab me a couple more winks of sleep. Well, I grabbed me a couple of more winks of sleep. Now I'm up, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. My camera, I was going to say my phone. My camera has charged up because for whatever reason, this little camera here don't keep charged. But after watching my girl Candy yesterday, I think I'm going to have to pull out my Candy Canon and work with that, because I saw this video before we started talking about my teeth, but I saw this video Candy made yesterday, and I just love her. I love her spirit. I didn't go to the beauty thing that they have for YouTubers last week, and though I was invited to go, but I didn't go, and it was at the, we have a huge YouTube, it's called YouTube Planet, I think. And it's for YouTubers. They have one, I don't know if the one that, because they have one, they're supposed to be building one in New York City and one in London. I don't know if you guys have got y'all's yet, but we got ours here in California, and it's like a compound. And you can go there and you can edit your videos, you can film videos, you can have green screen, you can do all these things. And that's all you got to do is bring yourself. You could bring your whole crew on, of course you have to sign them in. And you can make videos at the compound. Okay, I mean, it's off the chain. I have not been there yet. I do plan to go take you guys with me so you guys can see, what they're offering to YouTubers, YouTube partners here in California. It is so magnificent when I tell you that it is off the chain from the word of mouth that I've heard. And yet I continue to get different emails for different functions that they have there, and I just haven't taken advantage of it. I need to. I'm lollygagging. I'm bullshitting. I need to be down there. But I just haven't. I have not put the time into my channel as I used to. I still ain't got no banner right. Somebody hit me up about a banner. I just kind of fell off. Let me talk about some other things before we talk about that. I just kind of fell off a little bit because I got so overwhelmed with other things and other personal things that were going on. And when I'm having personal things going on, it takes away from my creativity. It takes away from me getting on here clowning and, whatever. It takes away from that. Like I say all the time, I am no different from nobody else. I'm not exempt from bullshit, foolishness. I'm not exempt from bullshit friends. I'm not exempt from roller coaster relationships. I'm not exempt from none of that. And people automatically assume, because I'm so boisterous, oh, she can't be sensitive, she's a bully, she's this, and this. I'm none of those things, really. In high school, when I was in, from middle school, junior high school on to high school, I fought a lot. And that's the reason I said the other day that I went to like 5 different high schools. I went to 5 different high schools because I was fighting. I was a fighter. That's what I did. And then, my mouth would get me in this and that, because I was a bagger, as they call it here. Bagging, as y'all call it, probably ragging or whatever. But we call it bagging here. And to get up and just to talk some shit, I've always been that one to be able to get up and talk shit just on random, just boop, okay. Your mama whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop. You know how we used to do back in school and shit. Your mama this, your mama that, your mama this, your mama that, and all that old type of shit. And so, you know, in school, but I was battling other issues, and so I would use my mouth as my weapon. Because at that time, during those tumultuous years, you know, I was, you know, a victim. And that was my escape, was to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? And especially to talk shit that motherfuckers couldn't really, you know, they didn't have the same mouthpiece as I had. So, you know, I had the whole buses rocking on the way to school. You know, as a matter of fact, you guys know that I had a best friend back in the day. Her name was Kenya Robertson. Me and her, when I tell you that that was my partner. First I had Stephanie Massenberg. I'm looking for you, mama. I ain't found you yet. Okay, Stephanie Massenberg. So if anybody knows Stephanie Massenberg that used to live in North Long Beach area, lived in the Long Beach area, we went to Alondra Intermediate Middle School at that time. I was very smart. It was just the fact that I didn't give a fuck, and I was going through some other things, and I would whoop your ass. That was just it. You know what I mean? But, so, Stephanie Massenberg, her and I were friends back in that day, and I mean, we had the closest, oh my God. Her dad worked at McDonnell Douglas, and, you know, I don't remember what her mom did, but she had a sister, I believe her sister's name was Jackie. And we just had, I mean, just, she loved Prince, I loved Michael Jackson. So, you know, around the time when Michael Jackson American Music Awards, he had the red, came on like Captain Crunch and shit, with all this shit on there and all that shit dangling and tassels and shit. Yeah, dude, he went to the Grammys with the same shirt on, but it was blue the next time. American Music Awards, though, he had the motherfucking red one on with the big ass glasses holding up his little get-downs, you know what I'm saying? Never forget it. And she was a Prince fan, I was a Michael Jackson fan, and that's what it was. And then, shortly thereafter, her family moved. I don't know where they moved to, so I was never able to find her. But a lot of my old alumni partners back from the different schools that I went to, you know, I'm always asking, have anybody seen Stephanie Massenberg? And so, you know, I was told she once worked at Harris's. Harris's is like Dillard's or something like that, and it was at the Lakewood Mall. I think she worked at Harris's or May Company. I don't know, Robinson's May or one of them. Back in the day, way back in the day, but I think she no longer works there either. I was told that she had a little girl or a little boy or something like that, just one child. I have not been able to find my girl. And that, when I tell you that me and Stephanie Massenberg in the 6th grade, I remember we were both a little chunky, but I was a little bit heavier than her. And we had PE together, and that's when I continue to tell you guys in the 6th grade I weighed 198 pounds because we had to weigh. And when we had to weigh, and Miss Beach was our PE teacher, never forget it. And so Miss Beach had us to weigh, and so we had to weigh in front of everybody. And, you know, she'd count out our numbers to everybody, and I weighed 198 pounds, and she was like 180. And so that was hella fat back in them days. That was like, nigga, that was like grossly obese, nigga. That was like in the early 80s when fat was not in. And so it was not, it was all bad. But her and I, from that point on, we just had a, you know, a bond that was just sick to death with it. So I've been looking for her. Then after her, and then while her and I was really cool, Kenya Robertson stepped in. When Stephanie moved, I think her dad got transferred or whatever from Douglas. And so, but Stephanie, she ended up being friends with this girl named Kim, because when I left from all that, I ended up going to Long Beach, Jordan. Shout out to Long Beach, motherfucking Jordan, okay? I went to Long Beach, Jordan later on. And at Long Beach, Jordan, this girl named Kim, she was also friends with Stephanie Massenberg. And Stephanie Massenberg, I think she had went there for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, I guess her family moved away or whatever. But I remember she used to live over there by Sheer Park, because over there off of Delamo, over there in the Bixby Knolls, Sheer Park, Delamo Boulevard, Long Beach, Atlantic Avenue. Is it Atlantic Avenue or Boulevard? Yeah, I don't remember. But Long Beach, Jordan was also on that street. But if you go all the way down, you run into Sheer Park, and across from Sheer Park was Bixby Knolls, with the old school Save-Ons, drugs, and all that other shit that used to be across the street. And in the old school ass projects, which was once called the Carmelitas. And believe it or not, Kenny lived in the Carmelitas. We didn't know each other, but he lived in the Carmelitas at that time. So it's like a trip. It's a trip the way this world just evolves and comes around and just twists and turns around. So anyway, so I've been looking for Stephanie Massenberg for years. I'm also calling out to my very first boyfriend. I was 14, he was 17. That was in the, at that time in my life, I was going through the window into the wall. I mean, the abuse was bad at that point. It was really, really bad, and I was acting out big time, but he calmed me down. I was not old enough to have a boyfriend. I remember his parents had bought him an Elite. Y'all remember the Elite mopeds and shit? He had a red Elite. My very first boyfriend, his name was Kenny Jernigan. So if anybody out there in the YouTube world or in Cyberland know Kenny Jernigan, used to live off of Fern and Spruce in Linwood, California. He went to Linwood High School. I'm going to ask that y'all hit me up and let me know, because I've been looking for him for years. When I tell you, I've been looking for Kenny Jernigan for years. He had a sister. He had a mom that worked at St. Francis Hospital as an RN. That's where I, was like, wow, I want to be a nurse, because his mom, she was a nurse. And so, and they lived off of Fernwood. They lived off of Fernwood on the street called Spruce. And so we used to send letters a lot, because my parents did not allow me to have a boyfriend, less known wear makeup or any of those other types of things. So, we would mail letters back and forth to one another. He would come by my house. I never forget, he came by my house. His parents had bought him an Elite moped for Christmas. And so he had driven his moped to my house, and my daddy was like, what the hell, what's going on? What's going on? And I remember he used to have these friends. He had one friend called, damn, now it just left and went off my tongue. That lets you know how my memory is. I can remember shit from years ago. It'll come back to me, because I'm you know how like you have so much information, so much data you're trying to put out, and it's like you can only bottleneck so much shit in at once. Well, anyway, for those of you guys, I'd love to see Kenny Jernigan again. I looked for him for years. Even in my adult years, I went on 1-800-SEARCH. That tell you how much I was really looking for this man. And so the search had me, it had all these different addresses that he once had, and then it had Gardena. So I began to send out letters to all these different addresses, and then I guess his parents had moved to Long Beach. And then, everything came up. It came up nothing. So I don't know if he's incarcerated. I don't know if he's deceased. I don't know where he's at in life, but I do know that he's like 3 years older than me. And I would love to see him again in my lifetime. I'm not trying to hook up with him. My life is pretty full. It's not the fact that I'm trying to do any of that, but it's just the fact that he was a friend. And the highlight of the abuse, he was the one that I talked to. Okay? Though he was a boyfriend of mine, he was the very first one. I had Stephanie Massenberg. Don't misunderstand. I had Stephanie Massenberg. I had Kenya. But I had told Kenny. And so Kenny was the first one that I told. And I attempted suicide, all kinds of things that you guys just don't know about my life and what I've endured in my life, and what brought me to so much anger and so much rage and so much, you know, I fought a lot. You know, I fought so much. I have so many fucking, you know, fade marks though. They're somewhat faded from fighting. I mean, just fighting. I mean, like, you know, remember when sodas used to be bottles back in the day? I remember sitting on a bus stop on the corner of Rosecrans and Atlantic, okay? At the time, I was going to Paramount High School and trying to catch the bus home. Oh no, I was going to Whaley. I got kicked out of Paramount District for fighting. First, they suspended me from school, okay? Then I went back, I'm still fighting. Then they kicked me out of the school. I went to a different school. I was still fighting. Then they kicked me out of the district. So then my mom brought me back to Compton District. My mom didn't want me in Compton District because of the fighting. And her hopes was if I take her away from all these niggas and put her in here with all these Mexicans and white folks, excuse my French, but that was my parents, you know, that was my mom's thing.